Hello.
Hey, it's a little late for Red Bull, isn't it?
Oh, it's a spitter.
Oh, okay. All right. So I just want to get started. See if I can find your personal. How am I sounding? Sounding like a little loud in my ears. Is that all right? Sounding okay?
Josie, go on. I'm so you want to find my person?
Can you hear me okay?
You're having a little bit of connection issues.
All right, is that any better?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Sure can.
All right. So I just want to I want to test your limits here. Do you disagree or disagree that there is at least potentially a level of technology that will render capitalism irrelevant?
I disagree.
I'll give an example. There is at least a level of technology where all needs and wants can be acquired without the need of spending money or bartering. There'll be some sort of level of technology that will allow for the printing or the however you want to call the materialization of any needs, food, any sort of building that you want to live on, anything like that. If there were a level of technology, if that could exist, do you agree that that would eliminate capitalism?
I don't think that there will ever be that technology in the foreseeable future. And if that level of technology does somehow exist, I still don't think capitalism would go away.
What would be in that particular society, if that technology exists, where each person has access to a device that gives them whatever that they need or whatever they desire, what function would capitalism serve in that society? Everyone gets to live in the house that they wish. They get to have the things that they wish. They get to eat the things that they wish. There's nothing that they could want to purchase. So where would you see capitalism having a place in that society like that?
Well, so first and foremost, it would have to deal with trade with outside forces such as aliens. I think Star Trek and Star Wars both make pretty good arguments for free trade and highly developed systems.
But the trade would only exist for things that cannot be manufactured instantaneously or through the technology, right? So you're saying then that capitalism would then be limited to bartering for goods that are unable to be created, right? So that it would be limited to strictly items that could not be created for some reason, whatever that reason is.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think that that's possible, and I think that's kind of like a strange hypothetical to start this debate about.
No, I just wanted to find out if you think that there is even potentially a scenario where technology could lead to socialistic policies. If you don't think that any level of technology would lead to more socialistic policies, then we have to start there. So.
Well, I mean, your nirvanic world would not need socialistic policies either. There would be no need for the means of production to be within the hands of the government or the individual. It would just literally be just perfection and nirvana. You wouldn't need any economic system at that point. So that's
a fair criticism. I mean, that's a fair criticism. The only way I would say that your version would imply that everyone has like individualized technology, where socialist system would mean that you would have public use terminals or whatever for the creation of goods. So where no individuals own their own their own creation machine or whatever it is. So, all right. So,
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we'll start more to where we are today. Do you agree that as technology advances, that we can use industrial production, right? When we're building other machines, when we're building things like cars, or we're building other devices, right? Do you agree that machines are more efficient at building such things and will eventually become cheap enough that they will be more cost efficient as well?
So this word gets kind of odd because, yes, I do think that machines increase the production of humans, but I don't think machines produce upon their own. And I also don't think AI is necessarily going to be as good as machine intelligence through humans. Actually, there's a really good book on this, which is kind of the basis of my argument. It's called "Average is Over: Powering America Beyond the Age of Stagnation." And what it talks about is 90% of the book is talking about the destruction of society because technology is going to take over. Now, I agree that that will happen, but I don't think that will get rid of capitalism. I think it'll only entrench capitalism more. One, it will be a Pareto distribution, more so than it is now. We will have more income inequality in the future. I do agree that that's going to happen. And that's just going to happen because some people just are not smart enough to work with machines and machine learning and integrate themselves into the cyberkinetic world or cybernetic world. But those people will also move into the service industry, as we've seen. As of right now, service industry has stagnant wages. But as that distribution changes more towards the high technology versus the service industry will eventually make money because serving industry will take on a bigger part of the economy. Such as like, okay, so you have one really rich person. He's going to employ many, many people to do many, many tasks for him that are going to, facilitate those people's wages. And then you've got to look at the increase in technology overall and say their lives are going to be significantly better. The lives of the poor in America are significantly better than they were 20 years ago, 10 years ago. I mean, being poor in America is having a flat screen TV. Like, I remember growing up, I didn't even have a TV. Now, I broke a TV, and within a day, I went out and bought a new one. And I'm still well below poverty. So I just don't see at what point capitalism is going to need to get rid of it, because consumption is still going to happen. Goods and services are still going to have to be produced and maximized in other ways. And socialist policies are only going to entrench that Pareto distribution to grow, and they're only going to entrench and or attack freedoms. So I'm really not sure what is the good of bringing about the socialistic policies.
Okay, now when you're talking about not understanding the good, I think what we're missing here is I think we're going to disagree at the extent at which advancing technology is going to impact job opportunities for humans in general. Now, I'm not making an argument that some super smart AI is going to change every world. I think not simple machines, but machines that are smart, but not AI, that are able to be adapted to many purposes. So when a company is able to manufacture machines for every manufacturing job's position, with little cost and changing. So the reason that in the past, when technology has taken away certain jobs in production, workers were able to shift to a different production industry that doesn't have specialized machinery yet. So the human element was still needed. So as the development of machines gets better, machines are going to be more able to take those positions. So it'll eventually be the point where machines will outnumber human beings in industrial production, right? In the production of goods. I think we can agree on that, right?
So I'm going to give you 4 things about the labor market that I think that you're over simpler or over examining when it comes to machines taking over these jobs. One, human computer teams are the best teams. This is true in freestyle chess. Freestyle chess is actually you bring your computer and you have like 30 minutes to analyze, and then you make the decision from what you and the computer.
I mean, that's demonstrably false concerning chess.
No,
you no longer have to have a human computer team to be good at chess. The machine moves itself on a computer in any sort of environment.
I know.
I mean, if you're
no freestyle chess teams beat the best AIs.
No.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. No, they don't. There's the computers hands down win. Computers by themselves hands down beat chess players all the time. I mean, computers, even basic computers can beat grandmaster human chess players. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter.
Okay, again, so freestyle chess is an individual and their computer and the program that they have created go up against other computers and other players at the same time. That's freestyle chess. It's not just that. And the human computer teams overwhelmingly beat pure computers. Right?
I guess when you're saying freestyle chess,
that's the actual.
Do you mean that you're saying that the computer? Okay, you're saying that there's a computer who tells the human what to move, so the human moves it, right? Moves the pieces. Is that what you're saying? The human is moving for the computer?
Okay, so the human plus machine style of play is called freestyle, and the rules of the game allow chess players to consult outside sources, books, other humans, and most importantly, computerized chess systems that are stocked with moves and results of thousands or millions of chess games that have been played. Those teams, those top tier freestyle teams, beat
who?
Deep Blue.
I mean, Deep Blue is not the best computer. I don't think that that's true. But I mean, you're saying I just don't understand the difference that you would think you have two computers playing against each other. Because if a human can consult the computer and moves on its own, and so the human makes the moves that the computer doesn't make. I guess I don't understand what you're saying.
Okay, so
I mean, I'm an avid chess player, and so that's why I don't understand where you're coming from. I mean, computers are significantly better than humans in chess, hands down.
Right, but human heuristics and the external standard, they've done this through like behavioral economics. Where let me find Ken Reagan. Never ever heard of him, over at Oxford University. He's working on the P versus NP problem, but one of the things he's done is he has Ribka and how Ribka like recommends a favored move and so on and so forth. And he's done the analysis on humans and computer interactions on perfection. And what he's found is that the humans who use their intuition with the chess computer make even better decisions. So second,
there must be some sort of constraint, maybe probably a time constraint or something in there that doesn't seem reasonable. But I'll give you your point. I'm not sure.
Well, because the point is that you're trying to separate the human from the machine, and that's not what's going to happen in the future.
No. It most certainly is not going to be a human and a machine working together one-on-one. You may have a human with a factory full of machines. So I'm not saying that in the future the human element is going to be completely gone from the industry. I'm just saying it's going to significantly limit the need for the humans, right? So I guess I just don't see how this particular instance, which seems unlikely, but I'm gonna, I'm just gonna grant to you that it's true, but it seems unlikely that there would be any difference between concerning the best move between a human and then a significantly advanced computer or an appropriately advanced computer system. And I mean, we see that in, computers beat humans at Go. So if they can beat humans at Go, then they can definitely beat humans at chess. So,
I mean, that's Google beats doctors on diagnosing. But do you want to get a doctor to diagnose you, or do you want to check your symptoms on Google?
You're conflating two things. Would I want to have a doctor diagnose me versus me inputting what I think my symptoms are into Google, or do I want to have the Watson computer diagnose me based on the same tests and the same readings that the doctor is using to come up with my diagnosis? Hands down, given the same information that the doctors have, I would have the Watson computer diagnose me without question. And I mean, I believe you would too, because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you have an entity with a flawless memory and able to make a billion comparisons a second or whatever?
Well, for one, we go back to heuristics. I think I would put, I know he's a fictional character, but House up against most computers, because even though they may have perfect analytics isn't what makes proper decisions all the time. That's why computers are still yet to beat the market on a consistent basis. They haven't and they don't. So the next one, the person working a smart machine doesn't have to be the expert at the task, right? You don't have to be a PhD level programmer to work with a smart machine. I mean, humans now all have smartphones. Well, at least first world humans all have smartphones. And we integrate ourselves with those smartphones just as well as we have the computer, the desktop, and the laptop. And then third, below some critical level of skill, adding a man to the machine will make the team less effective than the machine working alone. Knowing one's limits is more important than it used to be. So that's something that's going to have to be talked about a lot. So there are going to be plenty of people that are going to be left behind. But that's where the service industry is going to pick up. And that's what I'm saying. I still don't understand. Like, what socialistic policies are we talking about here that need to be implemented specifically that would make the world better in the future under both of our dire consequences?
Because you seem to be making the argument that human beings won't be left out of the workforce, that there just simply won't be a large number of human beings that are no longer necessary in order to provide for the needs of the population. Given the advanced level of technology, there will simply be too many people that do not have the skill set in order to be part of the society, and those people will have to be taken care of. I mean, you say that the people will move from manufacturing into the service industry, but even now they have service industries that are completely automated. They have, I mean, hell, you can go into any Walmart store, go to even the McDonald's in my small town has computers that you order from. So they've limited the number of people that they have needing to work their cash registers because you order and pay from a kiosk. As the technology becomes more advanced, what you're saying that there's going to be more positions open in the service industry, that's just not going to be the case, because the technology will replace the need for the service industry. I mean, it will take over those positions and they're going to be cheaper. I mean, it's happening already.
So actually, there's more jobs created by those computers being used at Walmart, at McDonald's, than there are that one person who's losing their job. That's demonstrably true. It takes more man hours for that computer to be built. It takes more man hours for that computer to be worked on. It takes more man hours for that computer to be facilitated.
And maybe that's the case now, but that's not going to always be the case. I mean, as they become more proficient at making the machines, I mean, it's not like the machines aren't going to get better and not going to be self-repairing. I mean, you keep saying that, yes, there are going to be places for these people. As technology advances, it's going to get to where it doesn't need repair as often, that it is more efficient. It's going to be, you're able to produce. I mean, we see it happening all the time. I mean, any examples? We no longer have car washers. We have automatic car washing machines. So you have one person who can stand in front of a automatic car wash and wash 1,000 cars a day. That a normal set of humans working together couldn't match that. So it's simply not the case that technology doesn't eliminate jobs, and just so happens that we don't have universal machines yet. So there's other industries. When one industry gets replaced by technology, there's other things for those people to do. But there's going to come a point when there aren't going to be other things for people of that skill set to go into. I mean, that just seems obvious. And then once those people don't have somewhere to go, you can't expect them to be employed by companies that don't need their skills, right? You can't expect a company in a capitalist system to employ somebody who doesn't bring any benefit to their company, right? You wouldn't expect that. And so those people have to be taken care of. And the only way to take care of them is to introduce more socialistic policies, right?
Okay, so I don't buy your position because I'm not exactly sure this nirvanic technology that you think is going to happen. I don't see that in the near future. I think it would take like nanotechnology to move into your realm, and I actually don't believe in nanotechnology. I actually think it's
I don't think that's the case. I mean, consider whatever industry you want. Give me a production industry, the production of cars. We'll look at cars. How many people used to work in production in cars versus how many people work in production in cars now? The number is significantly less because they're not needed.
No, the number is significantly less in the first world, but it's still roughly the same as a global initiative. Just because we've moved things other places doesn't mean that those jobs still don't exist. It's just that it's not a first world job, because the first world still employs roughly about the same amount of people. North Carolina, here where I'm at right now, there's 15 plants between Getrag, GKN, and I can't remember the other one, but they all own huge plants employing over 1,000 people per plant, putting together parts and assembling parts that were made from CNCs and laser cutters and from machines, and then you go to the Detroit area, and then they have people that work on those machines. It's still a significant amount of
and you don't foresee a point in the future where the assembly process that they now have 1,000 people working wouldn't be done more efficiently and more cost effectively using a machine.
Sure, it possibly could, but I don't know exactly how that technology would work, and I don't really understand battling on hypothetical technology that someday.
I mean, it's not. See, you're thinking like it's something like it's some sort of hypothetical technology that machines can put things together better and more efficiently than humans. I mean, that is not something that I think is hypothetical. I mean, we have examples of machines taking a task that used to be humans and doing it now more efficiently and doing it 24 hours a day, never needing to stop. So their cost effectiveness per doing the same task it's shown that they're more cost effective. And these are large tasks. I mean, so we know that this technology exists, and the fact that it hasn't been implemented in more places yet is just that it's difficult and expensive to make precision machinery, right? But the technology to make precision machinery is becoming more advanced, so it's becoming easier. We can now print machines or machine parts than that we didn't able to make parts that are specifically designed to put together some task, and then you can change them quickly. When the assembly comes together, all it takes is a new program and a new set of parts, and now the machine is able to do something else again. Yes, you're still going to have the programmer. Yes, you're going to have the technician who can swap out the bits or change the parts, but though that job, you're still going to have the rest of the assemblers that used to work there are not going to have employment, right? They're not going to be employed in that industry.
there's still plenty of industries. The financial industry, like I said, we've still yet to crack how the financial industry works. And that's the largest growing industry in the United States is the financial industry, along with the service industry. And it's not just McDonald's. It's not just that. It can be as simple as going to Belk's. It can be as simple as there is jobs now that is just like, do you want to talk to somebody?
Okay.
Just talking to a human is going to be a job in the future because it's a job now. There are plenty of jobs out there on Craigslist, right? So you used to be able to, you can't do it anymore, but used to be able to clean people's houses naked. I had a buddy of mine, no lie, this is not a joke. He made $1,200 a week cleaning people's houses naked.
Okay.
Didn't do anything.
No, but is that going to be open up to the large majority of the people who have lost their jobs in other industries? Are there going to be other niche industries that open up that are able to overcome the loss? See, that seems to me to be an overambitious statement, because it just seems to say, okay, so you have 1,000 workers, machines replace 900 of them. Those 900 people are going to be able to move into a different industry. So you said in your town that you live in, right? You had how many factories?
I think it's roughly 15.
Okay, so you have 15 factories that employ 1,000 people. So each of them you lose 900. Okay, so that's 9,000 plus 4,000. So that's 13,500 people that now no longer have a job that had a job in your city. Do you think that there are 13,500 available different jobs in your city that they could move into?
Well, yes, I do. So first of all, I think I think saying my comment about industries opening up is overambitious while we're talking about technology that's completely getting rid of humans.
But it's not. Okay, I'll give you an example. Do you believe that 3D printing technology exists?
I've used 3D printing technology on more than one occasion.
Okay,
yes.
So you agree with that. So you agree that that advances are being made in 3D printing, right? So the parts that previously needed to be assembled by human beings could theoretically be printed already assembled. Do you agree with that?
Oh, actually, no, I don't. So as someone who's worked as a CNC operator and done a lot of manufacturing in my life, I can tell you when you precision machine something and place it together, it is much better structurally, and it's much easier to take apart and fix than building something total with a 3D printer. Maybe in 20 years, 3D printing may be able to get rid of the CNC. And even the CNC itself is moving up in technology. I mean, my company that I used to work for just got a brand new CNC, $250,000. Can run 24/7. All you got to do is stick a bar in it, and it'll do the entire process: lathe, mill, route, whatever you need, all by itself. And it will significantly reduce their overall manpower. But because that machine is there, that machine has to have specific operators for it. So there's 3 people that will lose their jobs on this machine factory 4. There are 5 people that are going to gain a job as just being machine technicians for all of the machines that they have to buy. So there's actually a net gain of 2 jobs. This is the thing that I'm talking about. These things are going to continuously happen. The same argument you're making is the same argument that was made during the Industrial Revolution. It was the same argument that was made during the initial internet boom. So far, all of the Malthusian arguments have failed because we don't know what's on the technological frontier. But what we do know is that humans are unbelievably smart. Humans are unbelievably good at adapting to their surroundings. And that the 16% of the population that can't do anything now is not going to be able to do anything in the future. I agree. That 16% of the population, that's a problem now. That'll be a problem in the future. Socialistic policies don't necessarily help that anyway, so I don't know why that would be a thing to even worry about. Because at the end of the day, those people that lose jobs can find other jobs. They have found other jobs. Every time we've hit a technological singularity, something else has opened up. whether it's in the service industry. That was just one point that I was trying to make. There's plenty left to do in the manufacturing. There's plenty more people can do as we continuously get more and more educated. If only we would get rid of the humanities department and, you know, social sciences for the most part. And if you go to STEM, you're fine. If you don't, you're pretty much going to live in a, you know, in a outhouse, which I think is probably relatively going to happen. I think we're going to have borough society where you're going to have all of the non-rich people in one place and all the rich people in another. And we're going to have unbelievable technology. And I don't understand what socialist policies any of this is going to do. Like, I know we're talking about the technological advances and making that argument, but I just, like, what socialistic policies can you possibly come up with that are somehow going to fix this problem? Are you talking about redistribution of wealth? Because that's the only thing I can foresee, because I don't think taking away the means of production from the capitalists is somehow going to make the idiots of the world better off. They're just going to screw it up like Russia did, like China did, like every country that's ever done these. I know you don't have to defend the worst case, but there's no good case. So I'm just like, what socialistic policies?
Okay, you're going to have socialistic policies that provide for food, shelter, and education. I mean, if you're talking about that, people have to be more educated in order to function in the newer society because of the advanced technology, right? So in order for people to be more educated, there have to be opportunities for education. We agree with that, right? That's pretty straightforward. If people need to be educated to function in society, there have to be opportunities for education. If people can't afford opportunities for education, that education still needs to be provided for them, right? And if there's no means, if there's no skilled labor or unskilled labor positions, because those have already been eliminated in bulk by technology, if there's no unskilled labor positions in order to get even the minimum amount of money in order to gain an education, the necessary education that you agreed on that they were going to need to have a better education in order to be functional in this oncoming society, then that education needs to be provided for them for free. So, or by the government. So it's going to be provided for them. So in the case that they're providing for them, they're going to have to be fed and housed. So you're going to have programs that provide housing for them, programs that provide food for them, that provide other educational opportunities, other entertainment. You're going to have all these things that will need to be provided for them as they become prepared for the new technological world. There was going to need to be a higher level of education. I mean, using your own arguments, those are going to be socialistic policies that need to be put in effect that simply don't exist under capitalism.
Which of those does not already exist? All of those policies that you have already exist. So what's the more socialistic policies? We already give people food. We already give people shelter. We already give people education. Like,
right, but those are already socialistic policies that we have because we're in a partially democratic socialist state, right? That's the thing that people argue against, is that these policies, as our technology has already advanced, we've taken the steps in order to meet it, right? So we're already moving to more socialistic policies, which have already been implemented as a result of the technology that has already, the advances in technology that we've already done. So those policies that exist that are socialistic in nature have come about because our advance in the society and the needs of society have changed, right? So as our society advances even more of those policies are going to be needed. So the more socialist policies are going to be implemented. This seems to be pretty straightforward. I mean, we have a Medicare system for everyone who works. We understand that is a socialistic system, right? We understand that Medicare and Medicaid is a socialistic policy, right? No. I mean, you don't think that Medicare is a socialistic policy?
No, I don't think that you are arguing for what is socialism. I don't.
So what do you think that you're arguing then?
So those are socialism, right? So those could be traced back to the 1600s and the physiocrats of France. That's not socialism. That's not Englism. That's not Marxism. That's not communism. Those were classical liberal values from the physiocrats in the 1600s Adam Smith argued for those exact same policies.
Who owned the means of production in the 1600s?
Depends on where you were at, but there wasn't any.
You're bringing in the policy now. When you call them the physiocrats, I mean, who are you referring to, right? You're referring to the people who owned the means of production, right?
No, so the physiocrats were some of the first economists of the world. They actually predate Adam Smith. They actually wrote more on economics than Adam Smith did, because Adam Smith saw capitalism as a moral system, not necessarily just a economic system.
Capitalism is most certainly not a moral system.
Yeah, so no, it is
wrong on that.
No. I mean, capitalism is a moral system. It's a moral system in and of itself.
Do you mean amoral? No. Like AMORAL?
It is a system of morality. Yes.
Okay.
Ayn Rand talked about it. The objectivists believe that. A good bit of the Chicagoans believe that. It's pretty. Most capitalists find that capitalism. Actually, Nelson tends to agree with this. It's a system of morality, right? So it's about equivalent exchange. It's about freedom to choose. It's a necessary. It's a necessary.
You're the economist. I would make the argument that capitalism is an amoral system, but not amoral. As in is non-moral.
Right. So what I'm saying is, when Adam Smith wrote it. So Adam Smith wrote two books, Moral Sentiment and The Wealth of Nations. Those books are not separate. So before The Wealth of Nations can happen, there has to be a moral sentiment. Those books go hand in hand. They're simultaneously the same book. That was the system of capitalism that Adam Smith created. The physiocrats did more pure economics. And Keynes, who bashed socialism, said it was the most destructive force on the face of the planet. Keynes is really the big promoter of what we would consider modern day socialism, which is extremely free markets with big social welfare nets. That's Keynesianism. That's physiocraticism. That's
you're just arguing semantics. Then I'll give you an example. Okay, say you talked about the 16% that exist today. Say those 16% have children. So you have the children of these 16% that needs to be housed. Who houses those? Who creates the houses for those? No capitalist system provides housing for those 16% that are non-participants in capitalism. I mean, no system in capitalism provides for that. Only a socialistic system provides for the housing for those members.
America is a capitalist system. It is a competition capitalist system. It provides housing. It provides food. I'm not understanding what you mean. Okay, so
no, you're just denying the fact that America is a combination system. We have capitalist values. We have capitalist. I don't want to say a capitalist economy. We don't necessarily have a capitalist economy, but we have a limited capitalist economy and a limited social system and production system. But those things are not. I mean, we don't have a true. Do you agree or do you not agree that we do not have a true capitalistic system in the United States? It is not true capitalism.
I don't think it's as capitalist as Sweden or Denmark, but I do think it's in the top 10 most capitalist systems. Yeah,
it can't be, since we have governmental regulation.
No, capitalism does not stop governmental regulation. Adam Smith wrote nothing but governmental regulations. What's wrong? Can I hurt your belly? You want to sit up here?
Yeah.
I'm talking now. But yeah, so Adam Smith wrote specifically about governmental regulations. One of the main things he says. I'm talking to him. Adam Smith was actually much meaner to the capitalist and to the banker and to the taxman than Marx was. Marx actually wrote, if you read the Communist Manifesto, the first half of the book is a glowing tale of how great the salesman and the shop owner is. Just at the end of the day, that if you read between his dialectic time, before he was went back to his dialectics. He was actually the most pro-businessman you could possibly find, which is why he wanted the means of production seized by the government, because he thought the government was paternally better than the person. Whereas Adam Smith hated everybody, said they were all bad except for the poor person, which is the whole purpose of his book, The Moral Sentiment, was saying that we can't have just the unmanned. We can't just have the invisible person, not the invisible hand, but the invisible person. We have to look out for him. We have to do things for him. And the best way to do that is have the government have a system that helps these individuals. So that's the significant difference.
Karl Marx, you're not describing a capitalistic system when you're saying to have the government look out for the invisible man. That is anti-capitalist.
No,
because a capitalist system does not have any use for someone who does not participate within the capitalist system. That is just hands down.
Why
because that's true.
No capitalist. There's never, name me one damn capitalist, famous classical liberal thinker that is
every libertarian out there says that we need not to give any of our wealth to those that don't earn it, right?
Well, I'm sorry that you're
everyone has the mentality that if you're taking from me to give to somebody else, that's wrong, that's anti-capitalist. You're now describing a form of capitalism that borders on being moderate socialism. I mean, you're to say that we need to tax everybody, that we need to take part of the means of production and help and bring up those that are the invisible men. I mean, that is not capitalism. That is what, I don't know what version of, I mean, that would be go ahead.
First of all, the libertarian makes up less than like 3% of the population. That's literally a straw man. They also ascribe to a special school of economics that's different than all the others, significantly different than all the others, right? So Austrianism is like a straw man. It's not anything that anybody cares about. It's a really local heterodox school that no one gives a damn about. They haven't been relevant in literature ever. It goes from Adam Smith to Ricardo, from Ricardo to Marx, because these are all the great neoclassical economists. Then it goes from Marx to John Stuart Mill, John Locke. From there, then you have the Marshallian Revolution. Nowhere in that line do you read anything from John Stuart Mill, John Locke, or any of these other thinkers that created economics that we have today that says poor people should just get on with their lives and die, that the government has no role in our lives. Like, I'm not 100% sure where you got this idea of capitalism is, but please tell me so I can go destroy them, because they're fucking idiots, because that's not capitalism. That has never been capitalism.
So just to be clear, in the last 2 minutes that we have here, you believe that in a true capitalist system, that there are programs put in place that allow for the government to highly regulate production, and then allow for
I never agreed to regulate. I will point out, I never agreed to regulate. What I mean is that using a progressive tax system, something that even Milton Friedman, a youthful Milton Friedman, wanted, was a significantly better idea than letting people starve to death. That was one of his main arguments against the Austrian school back when the Austrian school had a big boom after the Great Depression, because he said, would you rather all of them die on the streets or have the government do something? And they said they would rather the government die on the streets.
Okay,
and then there's
nothing. Okay, so in that sentence that you're making right there, you understand that capitalism in its truest form, the answer to that question would be let all of them die. So then you modify capitalism in its form to say, to remove the let all of them die clause and say, well, we'd like to have this minimum amount of taxation in order that we don't let them all die. So you, in your own statement, you're saying that capitalism in its truest form would allow for them all to die, but people thought that was kind of a bad thing, so they added in this other clause that says that they wouldn't die. I mean, that seems to me with the argument that you're making, right?
Because what I said is that the foundations of capitalism, from Adam Smith, the physiocrats, so on and so forth, has never been that this laissez-faire economics that gets roundabout thrown in from the Austrians and from crazy libertarians that make up a very, very small percentage of the economics and capitalist community, right? The truth of the matter is that the original intent of capitalism was to make the most efficient way to get things done. Also, to help people, because that's the moral sentiment behind capitalism, is that it's there to help people in need, whether it be through charity, whether it be through prices, or what have you. It's all about maximizing